how fast you were going?
What? How fast you were going?
I don't know. 10?
8.
Be advised, this is an explicit podcast, so if you're easily offended, get your panties twisted into a knot, turn this off before you get butthurt and mad, start to cry, have to run to your safe space. All opinions are those of the host and his guest and do not reflect the opinions of any government agency. Welcome to another episode of MOTORCOP Chronicles podcast. I'm your host as always, the Iceman. And something we haven't had in a while, because it's been hard to find, is we actually have a guest today. And this is going to be our first corrections officer. He goes by Lovable Corrections Guy on Tik Tok, if y'all want to look him up. He's 3 years in at a department in Utah. So, welcome to the show. Can you hear me?
Yep, thanks for having me.
And if you want to give us, I'll ask you a few questions. I always ask some people. I just talked to this guy the first time for about 8 minutes before we started, so I don't have a whole lot of background on him. But what is your favorite restaurant to eat at?
Oh man, I love Red Robin. They got good burgers.
I'll take your word for it. We don't have those down here in Louisiana that I know of.
Oh, man.
But we have canes and stuff like that, if you like chicken.
I do like chicken.
What's your favorite drink?
Oh, favorite drink? I love A&W root beer.
I do love root beer.
Let's say I love like lots of different kinds of root beer, but I think A&W is definitely my favorite.
I don't know if you're a drinker of partake of the adult beverages or anything, but if you do, they make Old Smoky Tennessee whiskey. They make a root beer flavored whiskey.
Oh.
You put like a shot of that in your regular root beer, and it makes it into some grown-up root beer, which is delicious.
Grown-up root beer, I like that.
It's grown-up root beer. What's your favorite movie?
Oh, I love some of the newer James Bonds, like Casino Royale. I haven't seen the newest one, but those are some of my favorites.
I'm the old school. When it comes to James Bond, I'm the older guy. I like the Sean Connerys and stuff like that. They just can't replace, to me, the old one.
That's fair.
I usually ask if 10 or 15 you're correctional officer, so you don't really write many tickets. So, other than that, you can tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll just start from there.
Yeah, for sure. I grew up in Southern California till I was about 13. Then we moved up to northern Utah, where I went to junior high school. And then when I was 19, I served a mission for my church, came back 21, got married at 22, got 2 kids. In 2018, got my first job as a police officer for Salt Lake City. Had a lot of things happen there that it just ended up working out. They ended up letting me go, and now I got my job as a correctional officer.
What size jail that you? How many inmates do y'all hold?
Sorry, what was that?
How many inmates do y'all hold at the facility?
I believe we can hold. It's either 800 or 900. We're currently just under 500 right now.
That's that. Y'all have a big county jail then.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You just you watching inmates? Or you're a booking officer? Or?
So we used to do both. So right now I'm just in like the housing area, so over the pods where the inmates are held, and now we have a separate crew that handles intake specifically, so they process all the new bookings and things like that. But I'm just over the housing unit, so I'll work a different pod every day.
Is it what, 1 or 2 people in a pod?
Just one deputy, and then we have our civilian We call them jail operations specialists, so they're like the clerks. So they'll do all the logging when we do rounds, log inmates in and out, open the doors for us to let us in and out of the unit. So
the person like working the control center, the pod, is a civilian?
Yes.
Oh, see, that's different. Down here, and all the ones we have is everybody that's working inside of the jail are all deputies. Like even against spikes, if you had two people in the pod, they'll have a deputy that's like in the pod, and then they have the one that's like roaming around in population, and sometimes they'll switch out throughout the night, give each other a break, stuff like that. So
yeah, I know we used to be like that before I got there. They had two deputies to a pod. I think they switched over when we built the newer side, because we have the old side that had just 3 pods. Now we have the new side too with 3 more pods, so we have 6 pods now. And with staffing, so I think they just made that transition to accommodate staffing.
What y'all carrying? They let y'all carry any type of chemical weapons? Are y'all carrying tasers or?
Those who have been taser certified, we carry tasers. Not everybody does have one right now, but that's basically if you want to do it, you can. You just have to talk to your chain of command, get that situated, I guess. So, but that's about it. No OC spray, no batons, no nothing else.
Now, like I told you before, like back 30 years ago, I had spent about 6 months in Utah over there, and it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. I was in Salt Lake City, and somebody laughed at me because down here, we'll have dead armadillos, roadkill, raccoons, and stuff like that. Well, I was driving down the road first time when I was there, and I stopped in the road, and the person I was with said, "What are you doing?" And I stopped and opened the door. I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And it was a porcupine. And I was like, "We don't have just like roadkill porcupines out where I live. We might have an armadillo, raccoon, but sometimes a coyote and stuff like that, but." And I realized how big porcupines were because this thing was big.
I don't even think I've seen any porcupines around here. I mean, just deer mostly.
This was a big old porcupine. I was like, I didn't know what it was. But just gorgeous country up there. What do y'all most of y'all's people coming in with? Is it drugs or?
Depends. We've got a lot of drug possession. We got a lot of domestic violence, retail thefts, for the most part, DUIs, all those typical things.
Yeah. I don't know if you're around the Salt Lake area still or whatever, and we don't have to talk about it. I'm just saying, usually it was when I was up there, it was an extremely religious area. I remember when just going by alcohol, I mean, it just wasn't like running to the corner store or nothing like that.
Oh yeah. So over here, so I lived over in like Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas area for a couple of years during my mission. And there was like different Baptist, Presbyterian churches all over, like on every corner. But here you got the Church of Jesus Christ churches all over here. So yeah, this is Utah. It was predominantly LDS. It's kind of evened out more. It's like 50-50 now, really. Still more predominantly LDS, but you've got a mix of a lot of other religious or non-religious here now. Okay.
Because where I'm at, I'm in a Baptist Bible Belt down.
Mm-hmm.
The area where I'm at, an area I work at is predominantly Catholic.
Oh, okay.
But I went by the temple that was in Salt Lake City, and I couldn't go in certain parts of it, of course, but it's beautiful. It's just a beautiful area over there. I remember looking, you had the Salt Lake on one side. From being old, down South Louisiana boy, I turned around and they had mountains on the other side and still had snow on top of it, during the summertime. I mean, that's just...
Yep, Utah weather's wild here.
Around here. You know, we got swamps and mosquitoes and
Yeah.
palms and stuff, and not the palm trees. We call them palmettos. So you got any interesting stories you want to talk about? Anything funny or tragic or whatever, you know, stuff that goes on in your job. Like I said, we haven't had any correctional officers on before, so.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely get our fair share of what we call combatives. So the arresting agency will call us and say they're bringing in someone who's either fought them or saying they're going to fight us when they come to the jail. And so those guys are typically high on something, or they're drunk, or they just don't like law enforcement. So we get plenty of those. And so what we do is pre-COVID, we would just take them out of the car. And now we give them the COVID test, or if they don't want to take the COVID test, we bring them in. We assist them to the ground if they don't want to kneel on the ground and then lay on the ground. We have to search them while they're still in handcuffs, and take any like belts, take like their sweatshirts off, things like that, just so they have the bare minimum while they're waiting until they want to be compliant. So those are always fun, because sometimes you gotta wrestle around with some guys while they're yelling and putting you down and belittling you and just yelling profanities at you. So those are always entertaining to go to. We had in 2020, we hadn't had any cases of COVID in the jail until about November, but this happened in June. It was the first inmate suicide that I'd responded to. They called for a hanger in one of the units, and so I ran down there, and he was holding the guy up, and one of the other deputies cut him down, and we started doing CPR on him. And if you've never done CPR on a dead person, it's definitely different. We didn't know he was dead at the time, I don't think. But either way, we tried CPR, and you could feel the ribs breaking, so that was a new experience. Just real tragic. We had about, I think, 6 suicides or deaths that year in 2020. And yeah, I responded to one of those. So that was a kind of a different experience. Not the first time I'd seen a suicide, but the first time I did CPR on someone who was not alive. So that was definitely different.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize, and if you're listening, you're not in law enforcement or any kind of first responder, you see it on TV all the time, and they're doing, like, I don't know, they got these Rescue 911 shows, all these first responder type shows, and you see them doing like CPR and stuff like that, and I'm watching, I'm like, yeah, it's so fake. Because when you have to do it in real life, and you feel ribs and everything cracking under your hands and stuff like that, it's not like what you see on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And on TV, that 99.6% of the time, it seems like they always bring the person back to life, and most of the time that's not the case either. It does work, but I say it's a less than 50% chance you bringing somebody back. It's not like on TV at all. So
Definitely not. Something I kind of joke about with that. So I'm big on, we have to have a sense of humor in this profession, and even taking, something like that and kind of turning into something humorous, I think is important. And that's why people, we say we have a dark sense of humor and twisted and all that. So after that, I was doing rounds, and I think one of our quarantine units, and I would tell the inmates, I said, "Oh, just hang in there." And then I was like, "Oh shoot, is this guy gonna hang himself?" Because I just said that, so I stopped saying that.
I got the whole joke when he said, "I'm like, that's a good one, right there." And
oh man, I gotta stop saying that. I'd catch myself and be like, "Oh, this was after the hanging." I was like, I gotta stop that.
I mean, so I assume y'all, just like everybody else, you make rounds every hour.
Yeah,
you try
rounds every hour.
I'm sure you just try to change. Maybe you just don't do it's okay, it's 1 o'clock, I'm going to do the next one at 2 o'clock. When I was just supervisor, tell my guys, if you can do let's say you do a head count at 1, you do the next one, at 150 or something, or try to change it up where, so if somebody is trying to do something, they know they don't have exactly 60 minutes to do whatever they're doing. They don't know if you're going to come back in 45 minutes or if you're going to come back in 50 minutes or whatever. So
Yeah, it's true. So, and actually interesting that you bring up that. So at this time, at the time of that hanging, we actually had 30-minute rounds, because I don't know how long it was before this hanging. Another inmate actually hung himself. We weren't there for that one. And so these were the quarantine units, so they mandated 30-minute rounds actually. So every 30 minutes we'd be going in there checking just to make sure that those weren't going on. And my buddy had actually gone in. It was a lot earlier than normal. I think it was like 26 minutes later or something, and that's when he found the hanger. So it was crazy to think that just in that short amount of time, he had the opportunity to do that.
yeah, I don't know what happened. Your sound just changed really big time.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. That's better.
Do I need to tell that again?
No, it was coming through. It just sounded different.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we wasn't in jail. Unfortunately, holiday times, suicide rates go up everywhere, even in population. Mm-hmm. And we just had a recent one we had to go to where it was actually a lady, a female that committed suicide, but she rigged a rope up around her door in the bathroom and over the door, and then stood on a chair and then shot herself. And so she was making sure that whenever she shot herself, if that didn't kill her, she would slip and fall and hang herself. So, I mean, this poor woman definitely was, she had it on her mind, obviously, that she made it sure. She even took, she had a plan A and B done up. So, I mean, I've had hangings, just working the road for all them years and stuff. And I don't know if you probably hadn't, be glad you never had to go to one, and they've actually been up for a while, like a day or two. It's not like what you'd see in the movies or on TV or stuff like that, because the human neck will stretch several feet from the weight of the body after a while.
Yeah.
It's not a pleasant thing at all.
Mm-mm.
So you get any of them just funny drunks that come in? Them super friendly drunks that want to be your best friend?
Oh yeah, I remember this one time this guy came in. He was he was pretty drunk, and I was about ready to search him. And before I searched him, I said, "Okay, do you have anything on you that's gonna poke, stick, stab, or hurt me?" And he was like, "Well, I can poke you with my cock." And I said, "No, don't do that. No, don't do."
You just keep that away from me, sir.
Yeah, they say the funniest things. We had another lady we had a lady come in once, and she said she was the president of the United States. She said she was all sorts of different, higher up officials from the U.S. government, attorney general, all these things. So she was a trip. There was another one. She was in our booking area in one of the cells, and she yelled at us. She said she needed to call 911, which I thought was funny.
We've had, I was actually on a felony stop one time on the interstate, and there was 4 individuals in the car. We were pulling them out. There was, I can't even count, there's at least 10 or 15 cops out there, sheriff's office, local PD, and state police. And we were doing a felony stop, and we got like 2 or 3 of the people out. Well, they had this lady left in the car. She was an older lady. She actually called 911 from inside the vehicle.
Oh, man.
She told the 911. I wish I still had that tape. It was so long ago. And, but we thought like she called 911. It says, she's like, tells 911 that she needs help because there's cops outside of the car pointing guns at her, and she don't know what to do. And the dispatcher says, you might want to do whatever they tell you to do. So, but yeah, that's when somebody calls 911 on the cops.
Yeah.
Of course, she got out the car, and I don't know if she really passed. I think she fake passed out because usually your knees lock, and she did one of them fake passing out things on the ground and stuff like that. But it was quite funny. I wish I still had that copy of that 911 call we had from way back in the day.
Yeah, that'd be entertaining to hear.
Let me ask you what you think about this here.
Okay.
There's a New Orleans. I know you probably don't know, but NOPD, sheriff's office. Now in that sheriff's in New Orleans area, the sheriff really don't do any criminal enforcement and stuff like that because the whole parish is inside the city. So the PD basically is the enforcement part of it, and the sheriff's office just basically works the jail and serves papers.
Huh.
But they got a new sheriff, and she is originally from California, and nothing about your home state, but they're very woke over there, as we want to call it.
Oh yeah, I don't miss it at all. I would never go back.
But I just showed it on I think it was this past Wednesday I played it. Anyway, it was an interview since she's just been elected there. Now she's a newly elected sheriff. She'll be taking over coming up shortly, and she has never been a cop in her entire life. She was a civilian independent auditor for 11 years. So she has no law enforcement experience, and she made a statement that she's going to do away with all isolation cells because those are bad on people's mental health, and she wants to make the jail a safe space because the jail is not safe, and the jail should be a safe space for the inmates. So when they get out, they don't reoffend. And I'm like, what you think about that? No isolation cells and a safe space jail.
Oh, geez, where do I start? Well, first of all, isolation cells, I think should be used only for short term. I don't think they should be used long term because yes, they can definitely have an effect on an inmate's mental health. So yeah, definitely not long term. So I don't think you should do away with those. And secondly, this should probably been first, but I don't know why she's a sheriff if she has no law enforcement experience.
People elected her.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Well, we were talking about New Orleans. If you've never been to New Orleans, it's known as Mardi Gras party town and stuff like that. But I tell anybody, if you want to know what it's like being in New Orleans, go stand in the porta can because it smells exactly the same.
Oh, geez. Oh,
I'm not joking. It smells like piss.
So I would, and then making it a safe space. I don't understand. I mean, I feel like nowadays inmates are kind of a lot more coddled than they used to be. I've been reading some books about like the old school and the old days and like the federal prisons and things like that, and like how they handled inmates and things like that. I'm just like, that would not obviously fly today. We would probably be out of jobs and people would be sued left and right and whatnot. I
don't know if you know your history on stuff like Angola, our main, where we have death row and the lifers and stuff go to Angola out here, was also known as one of the bloodiest prisons in America for the longest time. Well, way back in the time, they didn't use they had free people. Guards were regular, but most of the guards there, especially on the gun line, were other inmates, trustees.
What?
Yes, you can Google it, go or DuckDuckGo, whatever you want to use, and go research. But they used the inmate gun line, and let me tell you what, those trustee inmates were way quicker to pull the trigger and take out another inmate than the free guards were, especially today.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, but like I said, y'all have the only civilians we have working in our jails is like the medical staff people.
Oh, yes. We've got the medical staff, and I think the only other, we've got we've got some programs right now. Like there's like the drug rehabilitation program that we do. We don't do a lot of other programs right now just because of COVID and such. Other than like the clerks in the control pods and the nurses, we don't have a lot of other civilian staff. So
So that's just like I said. So the civilians, they don't leave those pods.
No, yeah, they come in for their briefing, and then they go straight to the pods. I mean, the only time they leave is for bathroom breaks or going down to staff to eat.
Is the pods totally separate, or is it like big windows where you can see into day rooms? And do y'all have like dormitory style pods or whatever?
Yeah, we've got a couple of those. So the old side, how it's set up is, you've got the control pod, and then there's just the windows that separate you from the inmates. They're darkened, so they can't really see inside unless it's like really sunny out. The new side, you've got, so we call it the horseshoe. So you walk in, it's like this hallway, and then there's it's kind of like just opening around the control pod, and then the windows to see into the unit. So if you want to go in the unit, so you have to go out of the control pod into the horseshoe and then through the unit doors to get to the units, if that makes sense.
How many people y'all have per pod?
It depends. Our worker unit, I think, has, if it's to max capacity, has about 64 because we've got 32 cells, two man each. The dormitories, open ones, those I think we've got maybe 48 if they're max capacity because we've got 24 bunks, I believe. So 48 would be the max. So it just depends, anywhere from 10, because like our max units, those aren't always full. So, but we only have one inmate out at a time in those ones. So anywhere from like one inmate out at a time to 64.
So you're out in the dormitories with the inmates, right?
Yeah, so when we go in there, they got all bunks, no cells, so they're all just right there.
So there's just one deputy per 64 inmates, or I know one per 32.
Yeah, I mean if usually on grave shift, so we work 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. If we want to do what we call power rounds, we'll just have a couple of deputies go hit all of our units together. But other than that, it's just the one deputy per pod.
Do y'all like at I know some of the newer jails, we have stuff like that. They do visitation over these like screens and shit now. So, and they feed in their pods. So it's like no inmate movement. Like if they there's no contact visits. So they just go in this area where it's like kind of like we're doing like Skype. And that's how they do their visits and stuff like that. There's zero contact visits.
Okay. Yeah, we've got, they have, I think two or three screens in most of the units that their family can set visits up on. And then we don't really do on-site visits anymore. The only ones we do is we call them non-contact visits, where it's in person, but they're separated through the glass, kind of like you see in the movies. And those are usually for like either clergy visits or attorney visits or things like that.
So what about y'all have a lot of problems with like contraband, cell phones, cigarettes, stuff like that, marijuana, drugs?
Not cell phones so much. We're pretty, I've never seen one as long as I've been there. We probably more have like Suboxone is more of a problem. We recently did have some heroin brought in that we caught, but the inmate swallowed.
Some of that booty hole dope.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So one of the deputies, we'd heard about that it was in there. So we went in, did a shakedown, and he saw that, he'd shoved it up there, or he saw like a little string or whatever from down there. So they took him up to the front. They were going to wait for him to, get rid of it. And then he took it out and swallowed it. I'm like, how did you just take it from out of there? And then
God, it tastes like shit.
Yeah. Well, I wonder why.
Do y'all, not all of them, I mean, I know some of the jails and stuff are putting in body scanners and stuff like that. That can, show stuff if you got stuff crammed up into your rectal area.
Nope, we don't have those yet. I wouldn't surprise me if we got them one day, but nope, right now it's just the regular strip search. We're just full body checks, and then the behind check.
Bend over at your waist, spread your butt cheeks, and cough.
Yep.
I hated that part of it.
Yeah.
Looking at another man's butthole is not, really something I grew up in high school thinking, God, I'm going to grow up and just want to look at men's buttholes and not get paid proctologist money for it.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's not fun. I worked at a state correctional, one of the bigger ones in the state at one time, and it's like the intake facility for the whole state of Louisiana. So I worked out there for like 4 years also, and it's like, you can't be shy, because especially like when they come in and when you're strip searching, 100 plus people a day easily.
Ugh,
it's
yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, I don't think you get used to it, but you become more professional about it, I guess, because obviously at first you're just like, ugh.
Do you go to the doctor, you got hemorrhoids?
Yeah, right.
It's like gross. So if everybody's thinking about being a correctional officer, just don't be shy about looking at other men's buttholes.
Yeah.
And having them lift their testicles up and looking under there also.
Yep.
Because it's not fun. So do y'all house any, like, I know, like where I work at now, the state will pay local jails or sheriff's offices and stuff for housing some state inmates. And what they'll do is they'll find inmates with certain skill sets that can be trustees, and they will use them for their skill sets. Like if a department has their own fleet management where they do mechanic work, and you have a mechanic that's doing 15 years or something. Y'all have people like that, stuff like that have special skill sets that are they're actually convicted. They're not awaiting trial, and the state pays the county money to house them, and the county basically uses them for cheap labor.
So we do house, inmates from the prison. We house federal inmates, other U.S. Marshal inmates. We don't use them for labor like that. Honestly, I've talked to guys that are just like, I did this, or I did this. I did construction. I did this. But yeah, we don't utilize that really. The only inmate workers we have, they volunteer and they do get so much good time for working for so long. But again, it's all volunteer. But yeah, no mechanics. No, we don't use their skill sets. I think it'd be a great idea though.
I mean, it's like our fleet. We have our fleet where I work at. We get a new unit in. They build the unit. Put everything on it and stuff like that, and the stickers.
Yeah.
Well, one of the trustees we have there, he's a mechanic. I mean, we have a full-time certified mechanic, free man that runs the shop. He's not a deputy, but he's a certified. He oversees everything. So he goes and watches, make sure the inmate's not going to leave no lug nuts loose or nothing on your tires. But the trustees would, I guess people's like, oh, that's slave labor. Not really, because this inmate, if not, he would be in a state penitentiary or something. This way, he's a trustee where he's at. He usually got better privileges. Like this guy works in a mechanic shop, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's like they got the car wash trustee. He's doing state time, and he's from the area, so he's staying there. He's a trustee, washes and waxes and stuff, car, and mechanic shop, stuff like that. Well, the guy always hooks my unit up and keeps me, when I leave my motorcycle at the shop, because I live, I'm 40 miles from where I work, so I usually drive my unit. So I can pull up there and park my motorcycle after work, and then probably about an hour later, he'll go over there, because I've talked to him, and he'll cover it up and make sure my bike's covered. So, it's under a cover, but they have pigeons, and pigeons will crap all over it. So he'll cover my bike up and stuff for me. So, like, once a month or so, I'll run by Little Caesars and, get him a $5 pizza and bring him the pizza, and he can eat it outside. So they get perks like that and stuff like that. So
yeah.
I don't want people thinking, oh, y'all just use these. No, they don't have to do this. They could choose to go back and do state time or federal time. They're doing this because they're getting a whole lot of extra perks for doing this, okay, than what they would just be locked up and stuff like that. So
it's true. Yeah, a lot of them like to volunteer to work because, again, they get the good time, and then, it gets them out of the unit. doing something. So
So do you bring your lunch or do you eat prison food?
depends. When I work graves, I'll eat dinner, but then I'll have like food for the rest of the night. Just to save money when I'm on days, I'll eat breakfast and lunch there.
No, I say prison food. I'm not saying prison food is bad. Trust me, because I'm pretty sure it's a federal law, but I know most all states, they have to give the inmates 4 square meals a day and so much protein, carbs, and all that stuff like that. Go to some of these state prisons. Some of them dudes look like bodybuilders because they have such a balanced diet in prison.
Uh-huh.
But like I said, I've been back when I first started in law enforcement almost 30 years ago. The first sheriff I worked under, he like I said, this was before cell phones. Now they had cell phones. They came in big suitcases. But this sheriff believed, if you kept a happily fit inmate was a happy inmate that did not cause you problems. And this sheriff kept the kitchen at the jail open 24/7. So when you were working, I could pull up while I was working. I could go, and back then I had to go to we refilled at the jail. There was no fuel man cards and crap like that. Mm. But I could pull up there at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning and say, "Hey, give me a cheeseburger and fries or whatever." And they had inmates there cooking you up and all that stuff like that. But those inmates back then were eating fried catfish and pork. Oh yeah, he kept them. Now it's like, all right, a lot of them are like, how can I stay within this by spending the least amount of money? I think I now saw a guy working at a parish jail one time. I think he had it down to like he was spending like 35 cents a meal per inmate or something and keeping it balanced or something. So, because everything's budgeted, because I don't know if out there, but like out here, the county pays for the jail and all that stuff like that. The only thing the sheriff's office pays for is staffing. I don't know if it's like that with y'all, but like I said, out here we have parishes, but the parish pays for the jail and pays for the electricity. Got to pay for all the food. The only thing the sheriff's office pays for is staffing. They staff the jail.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think the it's hard to differentiate what the county pays for, what the jail pays for, because I know, a lot of things that are paid for are from the county, but then some certain things come from the jail specifically or the sheriff's office.
Now, did they send you through like being uniform and a road cop, we'll say? Did they send you through like some type of post corrections academy or anything like that?
Yes. So when I went to the through the academy for Salt Lake, so they have their kind of own academy. It is post certified though. So they have the SFO section, the Special Function Officer. That's where you learn like all the different laws for the most part and things like that. And then you have the LEO portion, which is the application of the laws and learning like building clearing, things like that. And then I got that certification. And then, when I joined the sheriff's office, they sent me through, since I already had SFO, I only had to go through BCO, the Basic Corrections Academy. So that was only about 6-7 weeks, I believe.
Okay. You don't know how long y'all's regular post academy is, huh?
I want to say with the SFO part, it's probably about 3 months.
No, are you weapon certified also? Do y'all people that work in the jail corrections office, are they allowed to work extra duty like the uniform guys can?
Yeah. So because I am LEO certified and weapon certified, I can work certain like patrol details. Like sometimes they'll need help for like parades or fireworks or something like that. And so like I'll take one of the older patrol cars and work like a section and have it blocked off or whatever. So things like that.
Okay. So I mean, y'all do get, y'all don't have like regular details. I mean, like we have hospitals and stuff that hire, that have detail. I don't know if y'all could.
don't know about hospitals hiring us. I know we have 2 deputies that go to the hospital if we have an inmate that has to go to the hospital, but I don't think we're not regularly staffing the hospils for
No, because like
they ask us or something.
one of the hospitals out here, most of the hospitals have like private security, like Tracer. I don't know who y'all have, but private security people. But they always have at least. Most all hospital has one, cop working, off duty detail there. Like, because private security guy can't really do anything. I mean, nothing against people that work private security. Trust me, it's still a bitch. But to me, it'd be more of a bitch because you don't have any power of arrest or anything like that. You're more of a deterrent because if somebody does do something, you can't arrest them. You can maybe detain them or hold them there. But I mean, some of these security places, you're not all security officers are armed. I mean, I don't know how y'all are I don't know what y'all, how, every state's different. We're an open carry state. So as long as you're not a convicted felon, you can walk around with a gun on your side, just like I do as a cop. Mm-hmm. And, unless the business, is a gun-free zone or something. But other than that, you can walk around with a gun on your hip just like it is out here and nobody can say nothing to you.
Yeah, I believe Utah is also open carry. So, and actually, I think we just passed a law where you don't have to have a license for a concealed weapon. I don't think
we still have that. They put it up, and I think the governor or somebody vetoed it or some shit like that. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's so dangerous." Well, in Louisiana, because I work a lot of course I'm a traffic cop, but I work a lot of interstate writing tickets, and I pull people over from all over the United States, and I'll have them, here's my concealed carry. I'm like, okay, and I'm like, my gun's here. I'm like, fine, just leave it there. I'm not freaking out because in Louisiana, your house is considered an extension of your home, which everybody listens heard me mention this before. Your house is an extension of your home, so as long as you can legally possess a firearm, you can have that gun anywhere in your car that you want to put it. You can put it under your seat. A lot of people have, stuff mounted on their dash with the weapon. I mean, it's not against the law in Louisiana. Yeah. And so I assume, it's kept me alive this long, but I assume every car I walk up to has a gun in it automatically. So, but I get it all the time. Oh, I just, I'm like, you're fine. Don't touch your gun. I ain't going to touch mine. We're all good, But our jailers, as long as they're weapon certified, they don't have to be post certified except for certain details. I think at the hospital you have to be post certified. But as long as you're weapon certified, you can go pick up a unit if they have some in the fleet and go work extra duty. And if anybody doesn't know, that's how most cops make their extra money is working extra duty details. Mm-hmm. I work traffic grants. I write tickets. Where I work, we have a lot of chemical plants. They hire, people for off duty, which it pays well. LSU, I do escort to LSU. Y'all heard me talking about that before. I'm looking forward to this next football season. Not that I watch football because I really don't care about football.
Same.
But they I think they just upped the pay. The last game we worked, they upped the pay. It's like I think they upped it to $65 an hour now.
Wow.
So, and I usually end up with a minimum of 12 to 14 hours a game. So it's nice little paychecks extra there. It's always around Christmas time.
Heck yeah.
So we talked about tragedy. You gotta have had y'all like the people you work with. Y'all joke around a lot because I know I'm a jokester, especially at work.
Oh yes.
You gotta watch. Some people don't like being joked with, and will throw hissy fits. Like when you put a snapping turtle in your partner's saddlebag.
Oh, geez.
What? It was funny. Or you take, the paper shredder and you fill their saddlebag up full of paper mache, basically. That guy got mad. That guy got mad. Come on, it's freaking paper. So you got on. Do you think you're just gonna stay in corrections? Is that where you want to stay, or are you gonna try to go back to the street? Because I know I got some friends. They've been in corrections. shit 20 years now. They love it. They're good at it. They're trainers and stuff now, because I do know a lot of people that work in jail, their aspiration is to get out of the jail. But I've also seen people come out of the corrections part onto uniform patrol and go back into corrections because they didn't like it and they enjoyed correction. Because people say what they want to, other cops out there, but there's nothing wrong with corrections. I mean, some guys are good at it. Me personally, I like I've been doing this so long. I like the freedom I have working on the street.
Yeah. As far as I am concerned, I did enjoy patrol. I did have a lot of good experiences. I learned a lot for sure. I have enjoyed corrections, and I felt like, I know I've been in it longer than I was on the road, but I definitely felt like I helped more people being in the jail, and I think that's had a huge impact on my decision. So I think, for the time being, I see myself in corrections for a long time, if not my whole career. I do plan on promoting. I was talking to a guy the other day. Me and a bunch of my buddies want to try out for the SWAT team. We want to do stuff like that.
That was my next question. If y'all had like a SCAT team or SWAT team, some kind of special response team, and if y'all have ones like, some places have uniform patrol ones like street SWAT teams, and others like I said, SCAT teams. They'll have it that's it's like a special response team or riot squad or whatever for the jail itself.
Yeah, so we do have it is a CERT team, is what it's called, a CERT, the Certified Emergency Response Team. So it's kind of like the SWAT for the jail, but this one would be like patrol SWAT. So we would go out to whatever hostage, barricaded subjects, whatever, things like that. But yeah, CERT is specifically for the jail.
Y'all have like, you have the electronic shields or stuff like that for cell extractions and stuff.
You say electronic shields?
Yeah, it's basically it's like a riot shield. And it's like concave where it flexes. I'm moving my hands like people can see, and we're not doing video. But instead of the shield wrapping around towards you holding it, it wraps around the other way, like a.
Oh yeah.
And it's got like electrodes in it, so it's basically like a giant taser, like almost a stun gun. It don't shoot prongs. It's like a stun gun, but it's a shield. So when you go in on the inmate and you're trying to pin them, you can hit the button on it, and it gives them a good little jolt, to get them under control while you're trying to cuff them and stuff like that. Electronic shield.
Oh no, we don't have those. We do have the shields that face them, so when you go in, it's pushing towards them. But no, we do not have the electronic ones. I'm gonna have to maybe bring that up.
Yeah, electronic shields. I don't know. Y'all use chemical weapons wise. Y'all using clear out or?
So I think CERT has access to something like that. They have some kind of OC chemicals that they use. I'm not specifically sure about that because I'm not on that squad, but I believe they have access to some type of
clear out and freeze and stuff like that. Yes, there's different. If y'all listening, freeze and clear out the OCCS mixture. So it's got like these little crystal things in it that gets in your pores, and it reactivates with water also. The only thing that really helps it is time and moving air.
Yep. We when I did that for the police academy, we sat in front of a fan for the longest time.
Y'all using like the freeze, or just OC, or was it just OC or CS?
I think it was just the OC.
Like I said, the other one, the freeze is mixed. I was a chemical weapons instructor for a while, so I had to go through some classes so I know about it. And I did that when I used to be on SWAT team many years ago in my younger days. But but I will tell you something. If you ever get sprayed, we'll just say if you ever get sprayed by mace, either type, keep mindful of yourself, and when you go home that night, and if you're a man and you go to pee, remember what you were doing earlier, and don't grab your wiener and go to pee, because you will set your wiener on fire. Or don't come home and try to have relations with mama. And she will punch you in the face if you do anything with your hands after. You better wait a good over 24 hours.
Yep.
It's gonna happen. I'm just talking from experience. Did y'all have to get sprayed when are you chemical weapons certified?
I was when I worked with Salt Lake. We don't use it at the sheriff's office, so I didn't get OC certified or whatever.
I don't know how y'all's works. Once you certified, you certified.
Yeah, I don't know, because I know Taser that we have to do that's recertification every like 2 years or whatever.
Yeah, we do too. It's just, I mean, does it change? Is it a different Taser? I just have to go to a recertification class on Taser, which I'm certified. And my Taser is usually in my unit. I don't wear it on my belt because I don't like the way it presses against my fat. I'm just going to be honest with you. You know, I'm not skinny as I used to be, but I can still carry chemical weapon. I'm old school, I guess. I prefer still the spray. I have a Taser. I carry it in my unit. I've never tased anyone. I've seen people get tased, bad guys, but I've never physically pulled a Taser trigger or anything, but I've sprayed lots of people.
Yeah.
Taser's only about 40% effective. Chemical weapons about 90. So, I mean, I've seen a few people that could take a chemical weapon spray and keep going, but most of them, it's going to hit them.
It's true. Somehow it'll get them.
So, when y'all are working, you said y'all switch up. Y'all not just on straight days or straight nights, or y'all do like a month of days, a month of nights, or?
We rotate every 3 months. So right now we're working days, and then in February we'll switch back to graves. So yeah, every 3 months.
Okay. Our guys, the department I used to work in, you were either on days or nights, period. Department I'm with now, if you're on uniform, I think the jail may do the same. I don't know. I'm a motor cop. I'll be honest with you, I don't arrest many people. If I do get somebody on a warrant, usually a uniform guy comes and picks them up and transport, and since it's a warrant or something, they'll do the paperwork on it, and it gives them the status and arrest, which I don't care if I have it or not. So I give it to them. So I'll say in the last 4 years, people, I'm probably gonna freak out. In the last 4 years, I've probably arrested maybe 4 or 5 people.
Oh man!
in 4 years. So yeah, I mean, now in them same 4 years, I've probably written 800-900 tickets or more. So I write a shit ton of tickets. I just don't arrest a lot of people. But I'm a motor cop. We don't arrest people. Last guy I had, I've had to cuff some people. But like I said, the uniform, they have warrants and stuff on traffic stops, and the uniform guys will take them because it helps their. I mean, I don't say we're not stat driven, but when it comes down to evaluation time, I mean, they look, say, all right, how many calls did he take? How many arrests did he make? How many, tickets did he write? How much, they just look at stuff. Not saying if you didn't make as many of this or that, it just, it just helps. Well, makes it look like they did a little bit more, I guess. So,
yeah.
I mean, mine, I don't, my arrest, I can go back and look for 4 years. They might say 4 or 5, but, you go back and pull my stats for the whole department, and, there's nobody close to me on the tickets I've written. So, but like I said, I don't care about that kind of stuff. I'm not stat driven, but
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. People don't say, oh, the cops just out there arresting people to get stats. Not saying that some don't. I don't. I don't know if you know any that do or anything like that, but today's time, they got good cops and bad cops. They got a shit ton more of good cops out there than there are bad cops because the media only wants to show the bad cops.
Mm-hmm.
This guy here, I mean, do y'all have like y'all's rank wise? Do you have like deputy, corporal, sergeant, or y'all just? I mean, some departments don't have corporals; they just go from deputy to sergeant to lieutenant. And
yeah, Salt Lake didn't have corporal, from what I understand, and so when I came to the sheriff's office, the next rank is corporal, sergeant, lieutenant, captain.
So I mean, you make a career of that right there. Maybe go back on the street, or like I said, street life's not for everybody. I mean, like I said, I've been doing this a long time, and sometimes, I'm like, oh, I should have stayed in college. I did go to college. I don't know about nowadays, but my buddies, I went to college to be a mortician. I went to mortuary science school. I don't know if I've mentioned that before. Yes, I worked in a funeral home for a little while, doing my apprenticeship and embalming people, and it was on the outskirts of New Orleans, actually on the West Bank, and I got tired of cutting babies open and quit. I was young and stupid. I should have gutted through it because all my friends make high six figures and don't cut no more, so they just manage. So I was stupid, but I became a cop. I've actually helped people, and I just think that's everybody's meant to do what they were meant to do. You're married. I see you got a ring on, so I'm assuming you're married.
Yes, sir.
Your wife don't mind your line of work. She don't get worried about you.
Nope. Her dad's been a cop for over 20 years, so she's used to it.
Okay, because because a lot of people don't realize, he's a cop too, getting a corrections officer. Period. He's a first responder, so we work holidays and all that. Holiday. People's like, oh, it's Christmas. I guess just another day. He might have this man here might have to work Christmas. I don't know.
Yeah, I had to work yesterday, New Year's Day. Had to work Thanksgiving. So yeah.
Yeah, because the type of jobs don't shut down. Just don't. They don't send inmates. Say, all right, everybody go home for Christmas. Y'all come back on the 3rd.
Yeah,
it don't work like. Actually, some of them may come back, but most of them probably would not come back.
Yeah.
So just when y'all went through your training, because I know when I went through my correctional officer training for the state, they basically straight up told us if you get taken hostage, the guy says, look, either you open a gate or we're going to kill him. They're like, we're not opening the gate. Put it that way.
Yeah.
It's like they're not. If you get taken hostage, you just better, hope you're good with the good Lord up above or whatever, or whoever you believe in. That because they're not gonna. It's like just how they say the United States or whatever don't negotiate with a terrorist. They're not going to negotiate with that hostage that hostage taker like that.
No.
Do y'all wear the same uniform as the road guys do, or y'all just like in BDUs or?
Yeah, same uniform. Yeah, pretty much the same.
So when you
same color pants, same color top.
So like you keep your weapon in your vehicle or lockbox. So like if you decide to like stop at a store, get some milk on your way home or something, and you're in uniform, you can have a gun on.
Yeah, and that's so we do have a box, just like lock boxes. Some deputies I think will keep their weapons in their car, but I take mine in. We've got lock boxes on the inside, and I have stopped before on the way home just to pick something up or whatnot, and I'll just be fully uniformed, and because I am LEO certified, it almost doesn't matter just because I do have that authority or whatnot from the state. So,
well, my thing is, many years ago, and it probably still goes on. Nowadays, like a lot of the office, the clerical ladies and stuff, they're still, work for the sheriff's office. They don't wear uniforms that look like law enforcement officers anymore. When I first started, they did. Mm-hmm. The department I worked for, the females, clerical workers included, had straight up uniforms, had badges on their chest and everything. Because back then, full Class A uniforms.
Wow.
And my deal was that these ladies, they're not post certified, they're not trained, they're clerical workers, and they would stop at Walmart or whatever on their way home and go grocery shopping because I'd see them in there, and they're in a full freaking uniform and they have no weapon. Bad guys walk in, they don't look to see if you're a secretary. No, all bad guy sees is a badge.
Yep.
So I'm like, no, you should never go in anywhere in uniform without a gun on. I've been wearing a duty belt for so long. I'll get honest. A lot of times I have a paddle holster. I'll take my duty belt off, but I got that paddle holster. I'm still armed.
Yeah.
I might not have my full duty rig on if I'm off duty doing that in uniform, but because, to be honest with you, the Iceman's back is tore the hell up and back.
Yeah, I believe as far as I know, if you aren't weapons certified, then yeah, you have to cover up on the way home or whatnot.
Yeah, I didn't know. I think some of the big cities, with Los Angeles, New York, they change before they go home or something, or some places like that. I know some places don't allow you to wear your uniform home or whatever like that. I don't know. We have take-home units, and basically I have two. I just leave either my motorcycle or my unit. So
Yeah.
are y'all required to live in your county?
No, we've got some guys that live out of county, so.
Because I know some places, like the place I used to work, you have to live in the parish or your county to work for that department. Like I said, one work for now. No, I drive 40 miles in, 40 miles back home. So.
Yeah. We got a guy probably about that distance from the county. It's in a different county.
Well, all right. Well, I appreciate it. Stand by, don't hang up. But I hope everybody enjoyed it. We put this episode out later today. He's going to have to get his friends and stuff to listen to it. So I forgot I don't have exit music anymore because I got copyright dinged on it. So I keep saying I'm going to play it. But anyway, hold on a minute and we'll exit out. Everybody like and subscribe. If you're on Apple, hit 5 stars, write a review. I will read it because somebody recently left a new 5-star review, but they didn't write anything down, so can't read it. I want to read your review. Go like and subscribe on YouTube and Facebook. Every Wednesday, me and Holstera do live shows and give our opinions on the news. And I also like to say this will probably be one of my few only clean episodes we have. I don't think I cursed really any in it because I don't know how this man is, and I didn't want to be disrespectful to him. So I'll be able to put this one out as clean. But like I say, go like and subscribe, hit us up, and everybody remember to smile and be safe because the Iceman could always be behind you.